Perfect.
One.
And we're and we're live. All right, awesome. Jorge didn't know how to count right there. Just went 5, 4, 1.
That was adorable.
That was awesome. Welcome to the Soscast. I don't even know what episode number this is. I think 20 something. It'll be in the titles. But it's freaking April Fool's Day today. So we figured,
shit.
Did you even realize that?
I did not, no.
So we said, who's the best jokester in town this weekend? And we got freaking Mark Norman in the house.
Come on. Good to be here.
Thank you for being here. What's in the coffee, dude?
We got just coffee and a little cream. Sorry, I know you wanted this to be some boozy thing, but it's,
dude,
it's
I left
early.
it open for you.
Yeah.
But Mark, welcome to Valuetainment. Welcome to Soscast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I know you're performing this weekend at the Dania Beach Improv.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Whatever that means. So whoever's listening to the show locally, go check that out.
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, South Florida. Turn me up like 5 more %, Jorge. And as always, Amber Lane. Amber Joy Lane's in
What's
the
up?
house.
All right,
She's
Amber.
here. When we told Amber that Mark Norman's going to be the special guest, she kind of semi-freaked out a little bit.
A little bit. I fangirled a little hard.
Oh,
She
wow.
fangirl-
Well, we're both hard.
Well, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank
When's the last
you.
time you were in Florida? Or was it South Florida?
I'm here all the time. Did the West Palm Beach Improv. Did Tampa like 2 weeks ago. Great town, great club. So, yeah, I love Florida. Anytime a comic gets a Florida booking, we get excited.
You just go.
Crowds are great.
You think so, Florida in general or Miami? Because I've heard a lot of comedians say they don't even want to go to Miami.
That's a good point. Miami's not great for comedy.
Right.
It's
Yes.
too much sexy, too much, hot Latino vibe there. They don't want to hear my jokes about anxiety. You know?
Exactly.
Right.
They want to
I'm
hear
trying to party, bro. Why'd you ruin my
but
day?
Jacksonville
Exactly.
wants to hear about anxiety.
They need a laugh out there.
Yeah, Jacksonville needs a lot of help. But anyway, if you're not familiar with Mark Norman, we're going to let him speak for himself. But here's what I got, bro.
Lay it on
And
me,
you let me know what you got. So Mark Norman from NOLA, New Orleans,
Yep.
Louisiana. Obviously, great dresser. I mean, we all know
Sorry.
that. It's not, dude, don't apologize.
This is
You-
usually in a fat
you're-
virgin's basement. So, I feel weird. You guys, you look great.
Thank
guys
you,
both look
brother.
hot.
Thank you, brother. 2013, The Village Voice in New York City said you were the best comedian, and I don't know if it was all of New York or in the world at that
Yeah,
point, but
that's a little
we'll give him
blown
that.
up, but yeah.
In 2019, a young comedian you might have heard of named Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes, the
He's
King Jew.
The King Jew, my people. He said that Mark Norman is the best young up-and-coming comic in New York. I don't know if you're that young anymore, bro.
No,
but-
I'm not young.
Okay, but anyway, that's respect. I mean,
I'll
you
take
kidding me
it.
right that?
Yes.
Yeah, huge.
And you've seen him on Conan, I think a handful of times, I want to say.
8.
You've been on Fallon. You've been on James Corden. You've
Yep.
been on Comedy Central. Last Common Standing.
Sure.
Where haven't
You're the
you
whore
been,
of late
bro?
night.
I
Where haven't you
know, I'm a
been?
late night whore. I'm on Grinder. I mean, you name it. I'm everywhere.
I haven't seen you on Grindr, bro. I've
Oh,
been looking.
quit lying.
I know.
They all are. Jorge told me some stories.
But anyway, we're going to play a little video here. You've probably seen this video. Cue it up for us. What should we expect from today's episode, getting to know Mark Norman?
Hey, I'll just try to be entertaining, try to be funny, and this is a classic clip. I can't watch it, so I'll take the headphones off because I hate myself. But, yeah, you guys go nuts.
Go ahead. Go for it.
My gal's fun, though. She likes to do stuff in public. That's cool. Although it gets you into some weird scenarios. One time we were at a grocery store. She stuck her butt out in the aisle, and I spanked it. And this 6-year-old kid runs up and he goes, "What'd she do?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Is she a bad girl?" I'm like, "She's a bad girl, all right." That's when I realized me and this kid are saying the exact same thing, but having a completely different conversation. He's like, "Is she naughty?" I'm like, "Oh, she's naughty." He's like, "Does she have a lot of toys?" I'm like, "Her bedroom's full of toys." He's like, "You should do what my parents do to me when I'm in trouble." I'm like, "What's that?" "You should use her toys in front of her." I'm like, "Damn, maybe I will." Wow, this kid's filthy.
Oh, thank God that's over.
Yeah. So what about that do you not want to hear?
I just don't want to hear me. I suck. But I only posted that today because I did like 12 Chris Rock, Will Smith jokes in a row, and I
Yeah.
felt like I had to break it up a little.
Right.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we were gonna address
Oh.
the Chris Rock, Will Smith thing, but
Since we're here.
since we're here, we're here with one of the biggest touring comedians right now. I'm just gonna build you up, bro. I'll break you down at the end. Don't worry about
please,
that.
please. That I'm
I'm
used
setting
to.
you up for some failure at the end. But as a comedian and a comedian, let's have that
think they hate that
conversation. Yeah, do they? I don't know.
So
As two comedians here,
there you go.
what the hell happened? Is something like, is that something that is just completely off limits? Someone getting up from the crowd, no matter who the hell you are, coming up and smacking a comedian because they made a joke? What are your thoughts on what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock?
Well, I think it's a big amalgamation of things. First of all, it's like a representation of what's going on in society. You know, like everybody's on edge. We're all full of shit all the time, and the more full of shit you are, it's kind of like a relationship. If you don't talk about everything and communicate, it just bubbles up, and then eventually you hit a lady, you know? And that's kind of what's happened here. Like, these guys, Will Smith is a zillionaire, he's hugely famous, and he's scared of his wife, as we all are. I think we should change the name from Karen to Jada. But
Great bit.
But yeah, I just think we're all going through a lot. Hollywood's full of shit. All they do is talk about being activists and stopping assault and down with hate and helping people and coming together, and then they see a guy literally attack someone physically in front of them, and they don't do shit about it because somebody had a great point. Hollywood doesn't act, they react. So they wait to see how the societal wind is blowing, and then they go in and go, well, this is what we think. Like, oh, you only think that because that's the right thing to think, you fucking queefs.
So are you saying that Hollywood ain't real?
Yes, and it's all like celebrities are having a bad couple of years. We used to look up to celebrities. They were huge endorsements. Now, with the pandemic, all these imagined videos with the black and white and we're hurting and I feel for you and I need to work on it. Shut the fuck up. You all live in a fucking mansion in Malibu. You're completely out of touch. You just say the things you're supposed to say. You don't give a shit about people. You only care about yourself, which is fine. That's great. We're all selfish, but don't pretend like you do. And after he slapped Chris Rock, everybody consoled Will, and nobody gave a fuck about the guy who got hit. That's how far off we are off base in this goddamn society. So fuck Will. He made a mistake. Jada's terrifying. She's fucking her son's friend, which is also weird. Imagine if a guy did that. Hey, I'm fucking my daughter's friend. Whatever.
Yeah, they make a movie about it called American Beauty.
Yeah, exactly. Where's Kevin Spacey been?
Yeah, exactly. Is he doing anything inappropriate lately? But let me ask you this.
Sorry, I got worked up.
Let me ask you this, because then I want to get your thoughts on Jada, female empowerment, and she's sort of like the face of feminism these days. But
is she really? Because she really, she's all about, I'm a modern woman, but yet I want my man to be traditional and protect me. So which one is it? Are you modern or are you traditional?
Well, yes, I agree. But my question to you is, we're kind of shitting on Hollywood, and rightfully so, bro.
Sure.
But isn't Chris Rock Hollywood?
He is, but he's still a comedian. He's a real guy at the end of the day, more so than Will Smith, I think. But he's definitely a famous comedian.
Yeah,
can't deny that.
And this is something that I talked about on our other PBD podcast with Pat. I go, people forget, before Kevin Hart, before Chappelle, Chris Rock was the frickin' man. He was the guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy in the 90s.
I think he's better than both of them, by the way.
Really?
As a comedian. Oh, yeah. Well, Chappelle's gone off on this whole thing with the trans and everything, and like a freedom fighter, which is great. Do your thing. But Rock kept it funny the whole time.
The whole time.
And Kevin Hart is on a Chase commercial and doing Jumanji 8.
Yes.
So I think Rock just was like, I'm going to keep being a comedian.
Yeah. Well, Chris Rock's acting not as good as his comedy.
No. Well, that's I
mean, I don't want to be controversial here. And I like how you sometimes sign off from your comedy. You say, all right, I've been Kevin Hart. And then what do you say?
I'm Kevin Hart, thanks a lot.
Exactly.
But I only say that because I used to bomb a lot, and I didn't want to tell him my real name. So I go, I'm Kevin Hart, fuck you.
Speaking of bombing a lot.
Is that your transition to me, Adam?
That was a joke, Amber. It was a joke.
It was good.
But Amber, you're a comedian.
I am.
You deal with some, as a female, I want to get your perspective on what happened with Jada. And if your man would have stood up for you, I want to get that perspective. But also being a female comedian or just a comedian in general, what kind of shit do you have to deal with? Hecklers, whatever.
Oh, I mean, just the first conversation always is like, you're a comedian, right? And you're like, what do I look like? A dentist? Like, I don't know what I should look like. But there's watching this had lots of from different perspectives, the comedian perspective, the human perspective, the female perspective. I think as a human, where we watch all these robots like this, watching Will have a moment where he like broke through his like facade was cool to watch. It wasn't that it was empathetic to watch. And I think a lot of people, if they side with him, they're not realizing that it was wrong. They're just like liked seeing something very real and like visceral. It was just like raw. And that was, I think, what was exciting about it. Not that they actually side with him. Obviously, all the women are like, oh, my ovaries hurt. That was so hot. Like
so this was a turn on for women, is what you're saying?
I've heard a lot of that perspective. To see a man be like, so up in arms about, I mean, yeah, we all saw him laugh and then look at her and then change.
Yeah.
So it was like in that moment, his own feeling didn't matter as much as him seeing her be offended. So that kind of emotional consideration for your partner is admirable. Had he just sat there and maybe done this part,
agreed,
that would have been really cool, because that's like, hey, I'm angry, but I'm reserving my physical anger. Because that was a long walk. Okay,
and he walked like cool as hell. He's like swagged out, and then
so there was a lot of thought.
Bam.
Premeditative, you know.
I always say if he was in the 5th row, that wouldn't have been as effective. He had to shimmy through.
Excuse me for a second.
Yeah.
So from a female's perspective, what was the biggest turn on? Meaning him looking at his girl, seeing that she was offended and emotionally reacting. A. B, getting up there, walking up and slapping.
No, the physical part was
the yelling, keep my motherfucking wife's name out your mouth. That whole, what was the biggest turn on for the female?
Listen, I feel like as women, a lot of times we get shit on for overreacting, and a lot of times you get gaslighted. Like, hey, that's not offensive. Like, calm down. So, like, just to see your husband, your partner acknowledge that emotion that maybe he didn't agree with. That's the thing, is being a partner, being empathetic. Hey, I don't feel this way, but seeing that it affects you makes it real. So I'm going to react. That part, I guess it was attractive. But the walk over and the hit, whew.
Unhinged.
That was not good.
No, I don't find men fighting attractive at all.
Thank God.
Mark,
no, tears. We talked about this. Tears, emotional vulnerability.
That's right. We did. Should a man cry?
But
Well,
I just
Mark,
think, wait, one last thing.
Yes.
This whole scenario, I just think the funniest part about it is, like, it's obviously a whole team of writers who are coming to the table with this joke. I mean, Chris Rock definitely has his input, but a bunch of people signed off on that. And they probably were like, okay, guys, we can't make a joke about the relationship, so let's pick something less offensive. And they went with G.I. Jane, and then this.
Which is not that complicated. Like, I guess he didn't know she had alopecia or whatever. It's not that controversial of a joke.
Well, he's actually made a documentary on women, black women in their hair.
Yes, good hair.
So it's not like
Chris Rock has?
Yeah.
Oh.
So if he was another guy who had less emotional sensitivity towards the subject, maybe it would have been like, it was all around not a great combination of things.
But it was a turn on that he actually defended his woman.
You really want to keep going to this.
Well, I want to know, Mark, what was the biggest turn on for you in this moment? That's what I really want to get to.
I think the fact that Chris Rock just took it, like,
that
I would have been like,
cool.
what the hell? I would have totally bitched out. So, and look, we do this whole, where we really reward victimhood in this culture. Like, all these non-victims are acting like victims. Like, Will Smith cries at the end. He gets the Oscar. He's like, I want to protect everybody. It's like, shut the fuck up, you big douche. Get out of here. You're culturally appropriating victims. There's real victims out there.
Oh, shit.
So what about that?
But were you ever a Will Smith fan, or were
sure,
you?
I still like Will Smith.
Right?
I'm just saying I don't like the way this was handled. I think he's going through a lot. I think he's in a mental spiral. I think he's fucked up, and I think he's mad at his wife and mad at the situation, and he took it out on Chris.
Also, poor Questlove.
Yes.
I love Questlove.
Yeah, what happened with Questlove?
This was his moment, and it's gone.
Because he won the award?
Yeah. He's a fucking great-ass guy.
Literally.
I didn't even know.
Will Smith made it about him.
It's a good movie, Summer of Soul. Check it out.
We addressed the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation.
But can we just say, thank God this is black on black? Sir, you know, if this was Ben Affleck who went up and slapped Chris Rock, this would be a bad time to be a comedian.
I don't know if I've ever heard, thank God this was black on black. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. Thank God this was.
It wasn't also a racial
And once again, white people did nothing.
Yeah, we stood by.
They asked him
We
to
might
leave.
have called the cops.
That's true.
Karen might have called the cops.
It's Jada now.
Anyway,
Look at her. She's like a supervillain. Holy shit. That's
Not
terrifying.
happy about this.
That outfit and everything.
So, Mark.
Yes.
We got through the Chris Rock thing. Will Smith done. Let's put that to bed. Let's get back to you. So, you know, I made the joke earlier. Hold on, you don't want to have a drink, whatever. But I've seen a bunch of your stuff. Even Marcelo spoke to you. You used to like to drink a lot. So
I still do.
How did someone that likes to drink, or even dare I call you a blackout drunk, end up becoming a comedian?
Do you know what we get paid as comedians?
Drink tickets. That's true.
We work at bars. We get paid in drinks. Drinks are free. So yeah, I'm from New Orleans, you know, it's part of the culture there. And I think a lot of comedians are alcoholics, you know. Dave Attell and all these guys are sober now. A lot of people are sober these days because we're all about health and beauty and wellness. But I still enjoy boozing, and I've tamped it down quite a bit because I like doing it. So I still drink, but I'm going to go hard tonight.
You are?
Yeah.
Before or after the show?
After the show. I still want to have a good show.
And where are you going tonight? I mean, you don't have to tell the location.
You tell me. I'm down for anything.
I will let you know, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
This is...
You're in that wasteland, though, Dania. In between. You gotta
go north to Fort Lauderdale or south to South Beach. I recommend south to South Beach. I'll fill you in after the show.
Okay.
Mark, you've been doing comedy for how many?
15-ish.
15-ish, but who's counting?
Yeah, Epstein's favorite number.
Do you remember your first bit that worked?
Yes, and I'm not proud of it, but the joke was very Woody Allen-esque. I'm bad in bed. I'm so bad in bed when me and my first girlfriend decided to lose our virginity to each other. I bled. Hey, it still works.
Was that the one that Amy saw?
No, that was a different one. I was bombing at this club in New York, and I was a new open mic, horrible comic. And she happened to walk through the club as I did one joke in that set that worked. And she was like, oh, that's funny. And I saw her in the green room. She was like, that joke was killer. I was like, oh, really? I'm covered in sweat. I'm like, oh, yeah, thanks.
Blood.
Yeah.
This is Amy Schumer you're talking about?
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah.
It's a long joke, but it's basically... people say the term "I don't fuck around" too loosely. Like, my friend went to the grocery store and bought Wheat Thins, and I was like, "Oh, Wheat Thins, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't fuck around." I was like, "You bought crackers, blah blah blah," and it killed.
Yeah.
And everything else bombed. But she saw that joke. Thank God. The timing was perfect. And then she goes, "Hey, we should do some dates on the road." I was like, "Oh my God, okay." And this is before she was Amy. She was like a club comic with half-filled rooms. So.
But you knew who she was at the time?
I knew who she was because I knew all the New York comics, but it was a dream come true. And then I watched her go from clubs to theaters to the Garden to movies to
literally hosting the Oscars.
There you
Almost
go.
full
That
circle.
affected your material, knowing her audience as you
No, I wasn't. I was so green. I was just trying to get laughs. I was just doing anything. But she showed me a lot about the business and taught me a lot about how to make it and all that stuff. She's a real pro in that way.
Well, did you have any idea she'd become who she is today?
No.
Even at that time?
No. I mean, I could see that she got the roast. She got the Charlie Sheen roast. Oh, she got a TV show, Inside Amy Schumer. And I was watching her blow up, but it was so fast that I was just in a whirlwind. Like, one night we're on a private jet. I'm like, how the hell did this happen, So I just got to see it in real time.
And she kept you.
And she kept me.
Is she the best current active female comedian? I know you don't want to go male, female, but I do think that guys typically are funnier than girls. I said it. But
I think probably Marjorie Taylor Greene is number one. I mean, Jewish space laser, that is comedy gold.
Yeah, that's true. So it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, then who? Schumer? Or who's on the,
there's so many
female Mount Rushmore these days?
Well, it's tough to be a lady, I feel like, in comedy because you're the lady comic. There's so many funny comics who are women that don't get their due because it's almost like you heard in the 80s there could only be one funny black guy. It was like Richard Pryor, then it was Eddie Murphy, then it was Chris Rock, yeah. And you got Amy, you got Jessica Kirson, you got Carmen Lynch, Laurie Kilmartin. There's so many funny ladies, Taylor Tomlinson, killing it. So I don't know. I don't love the GOAT thing. Who's the GOAT? And everybody's like, Chappelle's the GOAT, or Louis the GOAT, or Bill Burr's the GOAT. I'm like, it always changes. Some people are better at this kind of stuff. So it's like saying, who's the best porn star?
Lisa Ann, hello.
Well,
You're a friend of the show. What are we
Lisa,
talking about?
She is pretty great. Yeah,
she's great.
We're all taking it up the ass.
Watch out for Amber Joy Lane, by the way, on that list.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So, but I agree.
Yeah.
The GOAT is like an annoying argument. There's going to only be the one, but who are your comedy heroes? Like, who's on your Mount Rushmore? Just yours.
Okay, well, I'm a weirdo because I go way back. I like Groucho Marx, who's a guy from the 40s, 30s, and 40s.
Silent mustache.
Well, not silent, but mustache. Yeah,
Oh, I feel like, okay, gotcha. All right, my bad.
Yeah, but then I grew up loving Bill Murray, was like my hero as a kid. I love Larry David so much. He's like my number one. But then Greg Giraldo.
Rest in peace.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
Carlin.
Love Carlin. Carlin's fun because he's getting all this shit after he died. Like, everybody's like, the left claims him, then the right's like, what about this joke? And, Carlin was the quintessential comedian when both sides hate you. I think you're doing something right.
Correct.
So Carlin, Seinfeld was huge for me. Chris Rock was huge for me. Louis C.K., Bill Burr.
Norm has to be.
Norm is in my top 5 for sure. I totally am biting him a little bit. So, yeah.
Wow. You just both have these like very signature voices.
All right, hey, I'll take it.
But different.
Yeah. Why, does he remind you of Norm Macdonald a little bit?
A lot. In the best ways. Yeah.
Thank you.
A good-looking young Norm Macdonald.
Oh, he was handsome in his day.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You mentioned David Tell. Is he on your list
Love
somewhere?
David Tell. Love David Tell. David Tell's tough because I know him, so I should put him more on the pedestal, but I forget because he's just like such a killer comic. But, yeah, David Tell's, I would say, the GOAT. But hey.
Look, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here. Jerry Seinfeld called you the best young and up-and-coming. All right.
He was drinking a lot.
Clearly he's drunk.
Yeah.
If you could say somebody that's young that you see doing their thing, New York City comedies, or someone that you're like, yo, this kid, watch out for this guy. Because they're going to come back and say, Mark Norman called so-and-so the best. Who do you think?
Well, there's a couple guys. Sean Patton is hilarious. He doesn't get his due. This guy Chad Daniels. Fahim Anwar is really funny. Like there's all these guys and gals. Hold on, let me name some women here so I don't get yelled at on Twitter. But yeah, I named a bunch of ladies at the beginning.
You did. You
did great.
So I'm a lot of people.
I'm going to add one more to that list. Watch out, New York City. Marcelo Hernandez, friend of the show.
Oh, there you go.
Our boy that you met the other day.
Yeah,
a young up-and-comer.
Dina Hashem, very funny comedian. But I just think funny isn't number one anymore. Like now it's like, what's your thing? Are you trans? Are you in a wheelchair? Are you Asian?
Yeah.
You know, if funny, like there's a lot of guys funnier than Fluffy. But Fluffy is Fluffy. You know, that's really what it takes to be. I'm not saying he's not funny, but it takes more. You got to have a gimmick. You got to have a character. You got to be likable. You got to have heat. You know, funny is out.
You need to be a trans Asian in a wheelchair who happens to be overweight and fluffy, and boom.
They would get a deal instantly, I guarantee.
But I feel like there's more space for more different kinds of comedians now because we have access to your exact target audience.
Exactly.
Like, look at TikTok. So there can be somebody in all of those niches because there is enough of an audience for those people to survive, even if they're not applying to like the entire demographic.
Great point.
Well, they say that the riches are in the niches. By the way, speaking of like internet stuff, there's a kid called Trevor Wallace. You ever seen this guy?
Oh, he kills it.
This kid's great, man. I watch all his content.
The
sketches. Now, what are your thoughts on YouTubers, TikTokers becoming comedians, or kind of getting into that? Because I've heard sometimes they suck at stand-up. I've seen.
Yeah, mostly they suck.
Exactly. What are your thoughts on that? This guy Trevor's pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, obviously, but stand-up is a different animal, you know? It's like saying, hey, this guy's a hell of a boxer. It's like, all right, well, can you do MMA?
Yeah.
You know? So these guys are funny, but they're videotaped and it's edited and they put clips and graphics and shit. So it's a different animal than you get in front of a live audience and you have to do 45 minutes and get laughs every 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. Now it's a different ball game. So I say do what you got to do as long as you take it seriously. A lot of guys like these Chris Katans or whoever will be like, hey, I can sell tickets. I was on SNL for years. And then they do 7 minutes and talk about old stories and they have no act.
Right.
And I get it's a cash grab, but like Steve-O apparently is taking it seriously, I think.
Oh, really?
So that, to me, that's all that matters. Just treat it like it should be treated. Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. It seems like you've got no problem naming names.
Well, I just try to keep it real. I'm not trying to be mean.
I'm saying I respect the hell out of that.
Oh,
like you just called out Chris Kattan, who
Well, I think he's in a bathtub right now crying. So I'm not too worried about it. But I'm just being honest. Like I don't think Kattan would say, "Hey, I'm working hard and writing jokes." Like,
gotcha.
I think he would agree with me.
Gotcha.
Sorry about like TikTok. People like use insights, right? That's the entire trend.
Right.
If you can tap into an insight and put a caption on it in 6 seconds, it'll go to see 58.5 million people. But taking insights and presenting them without any visual aid is a whole different.
What do you mean by insights?
Great
like
point.
Actually on your Instagram?
Yeah, no, people sort of make a joke by talking about an insight that everyone can relate to and adding a visual meme with a caption over it. And people are like, oh, this happened to me. Send, share. But to do it without any visual component or an audio track, that already gives you half the battle. If you pick a song that relates to a time period and a picture that relates to a whole thing, and then you just put a caption on it, you've created this trifecta that you can't fucking do on stage.
Here. Well said.
He's been pointing at you and agreeing with you for the past 30 seconds.
Yeah.
What did she nail?
You nailed it. It's because there's an algo situation going on with the internet, you know. Whereas, can you stand in front of people and plant your feet and get involuntary laughter from an original thought or an original joke? I doubt it. But you can figure out what's trending and what's hashtagging and all that. I sound like some boomer weirdo, but
these algorithms, these kids these days.
You haven't ventured into TikTok. Twitter is your main.
Twitter, Instagram. I have a guy I pay now because I'm like, I guess you got to do this. So
Right,
I just toss it off to some young
to pay
twink
to do what?
To do TikTok. I'm like, here's some videos. You upload it. You put the right banner, the right caption, the right graphics, and it's some youngster, and he knows what he's doing.
Gotcha. Well, that comes with success. You can hire youngsters, start doing some shit.
Here.
But the TikTok comedians have the following to sell out small shows because they already have millions of followers.
Exactly.
So if you can use it to your advantage, I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm not knocking it.
I actually want to talk about, we're going to get into some financial stuff. We're going to get into some dating stuff. We got segments going on over here, kind of.
Love a segment.
So we're talking comedy right now. Apparently there's some story with Seinfeld. He left you on red, something like that. What is that? What's your Seinfeld story?
No, you're thinking of Chris DeStefanos.
Okay,
he left
gotcha.
him on red.
Gotcha.
Which is terrifying. Texting, I have his phone number, and I grew up with the guy, watching him on TV. So it's like texting a supermodel where I write it, then I delete everything, and then I edit, and I'm like, is this funny enough? And I'm asking people. So it's so scary to text him. So when he leaves you on red, it stings.
Yeah.
But he left me on stage once, I opened for him, and I got off too early because I didn't want to go long, and he wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And he's very meticulous about how he runs his show. It was completely my fault. And so then I ran back out because I couldn't leave an empty stage.
Right.
And then I started bombing. I got heckled. People were like, where's Jerry? Bring out Jerry. And I wanted to trash this guy, but you got to be clean. So I didn't want to fuck up the show. So the whole thing sucked, and he was upset about it.
Yeah.
And then I got a kind of scolded by a childhood hero. It was a very surreal moment.
Yeah. And then what happened after that?
Well, we were totally cool, but I actually think it brought us closer because he felt like he could be honest with me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was at the
How
time.
much early did you do?
I was supposed to do 15. I probably did 12 or 13.
And he wasn't there yet?
He was kind of he was in an elevator on the way down, going to the stage, and it was a split set. I got off and the stage is empty. I'm like, what do I do? And there was some grip on his phone playing a casino game. He's like, you better go back out there. And I was like, oh shit. And I went back out there, and that was the worst move I could have done.
You got heckled pretty bad on that one?
Yeah, because they were like, you again? We don't know you.
We don't
We're
want
waiting for
you,
the big
dude.
man.
Opening is so hard.
Let's talk about heckler. How do you deal with hecklers? How do you deal with, whether that's live and in person or even haters online? Haters are out there. The keyboard warriors,
Sure.
Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers.
I've never
Drake's
seen
line.
clips of you doing crowd work in that way of being heckled and throwing shit back. So I always wondered actually if you do a lot of it. I'm
not a big even if I get heckled, I don't like to post it because I don't want that to cultivate people to come out and go, oh, that was a great clip. I'm going to yell, and I'm going to get on a clip. So that worries me a little bit, but I get heckled all the time. I try to spin it and try to make it funny. The worst thing you can do with heckle is just
get angry.
Get angry. If it's a fat guy like, well, you're going to die soon, you fat fuck, then the crowd's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was grim.
Yeah, so I think it took years, but I used to just be like, fuck you, you beep, 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 all this shit. But now I try to spin it and make it funny because the crowd ultimately hates that guy.
Of course.
So if
they're rooting the show.
Yeah, twist it back onto him, it works every time.
Gotcha.
That's the key.
You've told some stories about not only have you been heckled, you've been full on attacked.
I have, yeah.
Not on stage that I know of, bro, but
off stage. I got almost on stage, but I've had some guys step in, thank God. But I almost got Will Smith. But one time there was a guy in the front row who was heckling me quietly, so no one else could hear but me.
Ugh, the worst.
So it was just like this gnat in my head, like that joke sucked. Ooh, get a better job, you stink, kill yourself. And it's all the thoughts I have already. So he was like validating them, and I just went off on the guy, but no one else knew he was doing it.
Man.
So everybody's like, what the hell? And they turned on me. So now the whole crowd is against me, and this guy's still heckling me. So I just trashed him, and then he got so mad that he tried to get on stage, and they stopped him, but it got pretty ugly.
Yeah.
So I had to win the crowd. No, he was yelling at me. You don't understand. It was a sad
That's never a good position to be in.
No.
How do you deal with hecklers, Amber?
I had the opposite of a heckle, but it was still annoying. I had a guy who knows all my jokes. It comes to all my shows. And he was sitting in the front row, and he was yelling out my punchlines every time right before I would get to them.
That's a nightmare.
But nobody else was really hearing it except for me, and it felt like I was in an echo.
Yes.
He was the first one, and I was the echo.
Yeah.
I thankfully haven't been heckled too much, but because I'm very sweet, anytime I say something that's a little bit anger, people love it. But it's not my personality. So it has
what?
to be mean.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not
Same.
who I am.
Same.
It makes me very uncomfortable.
Got it.
And I also do you ever watch New Girl Winston? How he would prank to the extreme. That's my problem. If I go mean, I go like way too mean.
Me too.
There's no in between. I don't know how to be like smart, funny, mean all in the same time and likable with a smile.
Right.
It'll just go.
So you're bringing a gun to a knife fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hope you get AIDS. You know. I hope
Right.
your mom
And your mom
does.
get AIDS.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, I want to get your thoughts on this. You've been on Rogan a few times.
Sure.
Right? How many times have you been on Rogan?
I think 5.
Yeah, who's counting though?
Yeah,
Rogan
yeah.
5.
4 or 5.
Are you pretty tight with Joe?
I like Joe. Joe gets a bad rep. Everybody, he's like kind of a punchline now, I guess. But a lot of these guys who claimed that Joe's a bad guy, I know them too, and they're way worse of a person than Joe. Like, that's the thing about the internet. It's this big smokescreen. But most things are the exact opposite from the internet. You know, like this guy's a dick and she's super nice. She's actually the biggest coos on the planet and he's a nice guy, or vice versa, whatever it is. So Joe is super generous. He helps people. He gives people a lot of stuff and money. And I don't know, you don't have to agree with his politics, but like, isn't that what being open-minded is? Is like, oh, this guy disagrees. And they go, well, he should be using his platform for good. It's like, well, then it wouldn't be as popular. And also, what you think is good might not be what he thinks is good. So you just want it to be your way.
Gotcha.
And I think it's just, when you get bigger, the bigger you get, the more haters come out. So he's a sweet guy, and he means really well.
Right. Well,
So.
and then obviously the legacy media, the mainstream media has been seeing what he's doing. He's fucking killing them in views.
That, yeah.
So they're going to shit on him.
Right.
Even more. I want to get your thoughts on this because I think he came out and actually just kind of clapped back finally because he's come back and he said some videos, hey, I'm actually a Neil Young fan and, I'll try to be better. I'll try to be more respectful. He's been... But I guess he did a show recently with an MMA fighter, Josh Barnett. So here's the headline. I'll read it to you, and then I'll get your guys' thoughts. So Joe Rogan threatens to quit Spotify if he has to, quote unquote, walk on eggshells. On podcast a couple days ago on Tuesday, Rogan threatened to quit Spotify, leaving a $200 million deal on the table if he was asked to self-censor. During a conversation with MMA fighter Josh Barnett about the podcast industry, Rogan said, I will quit. If it gets to a point that I can't do it anymore, or I have to do it in some sort of weird way where I have to walk on eggshells and mind my P's and Q's, fuck that. Rogan expresses concern of having his life picked apart, every little thing. Rogan commented that his job requires sincerity, and without it, the show does not have any success.
I completely agree. Yeah, that's the whole point of the show, and that's why people like it. It's because he just says what he thinks. And that's the other thing is a lot of people agree with him. Like, you know how many celebrities in Hollywood don't have the vaccine? They won't do it. They're like, I'm not putting that in my body. But they'll lie and say, of course, get the vaccine. But he will actually say, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get it. And then everybody attacks him. And it's like, well, Gwyneth Paltrow, whoever the fuck, probably doesn't have it either. But she's just quiet about it. So we love to do this thing. And also, like, the N-word thing. Well, he's a racist. It's like, well, we have footage of Biden saying it and all these other people saying it. And so are you going to call him a racist? Like, I hate the picking and choosing. We're so split that we can't even make a real decision. Like, it drives me crazy how if Trump does something stupid, I'm going to make fun of it. If Biden does something stupid, I'm going to make fun of it. But now everybody's so deep-rooted in their political ideology that they're like, well, I'm a lefty, so Biden shit himself. I just won't talk about that. But I'll talk about you shitting yourself. Well, he shit himself too. It's like, no. Are you honest or you're not honest? You can't just pick and choose what you can make fun of because of your politics. It doesn't make...
We're not in gangs.
Yeah, it feels like gangs.
That's such an important point that you made, not to get all political, but like... You'll only talk shit about the other side.
Yes.
That's it. And if your side did something that's so fucking absurd, like you're saying Biden shit himself or whatever, you're, it happened. Yeah. Trump does it. It's the biggest fucking news story of the day.
Exactly. So I stay neutral I think a comic should observe. Stay back and observe. No matter who, and comment. No matter who is fucking up, talk about all of it.
Well, I agree with you, dude, but let me ask you a follow-up with that. Well, because you've been on all the late-night shows, the Conans of the world, the Colberts of the world, the Fallon. Fallon kind of stays out of it. Certainly Seth Meyers, but a lot of these late-night comedians, they're not on Team Trump, and they make it fucking known.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's good for ratings. Like, I don't know much about politics. I kind of try to stay out of it for sanity reasons, and I don't really care. You know, I'm selfish and worried about my own shit. I'm trying to pay the bills. So I think they attacked Trump because it works. Like, Colbert was kind of not doing great, and then the Trump stuff started cooking, so he just leaned in. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know if they even believe everything. I think people just go where the wind's blowing, and Will Smith is a perfect example. When Will Smith causes physical violence, no one does a fucking thing. But they say we're against violence and all that. So I think it's a lot of perception and posturing, if I'm being honest.
You got any strong feelings on this, Amber?
Yeah, I mean, they know their audience. The late night shows are all super liberal, young, whatever. Anything that's shareable, clippable, that can get the most widespread views,
they'll do it.
They're going to do it.
Yeah, because Trump people hate watch it, and then liberal people watch it and love it. So it's a perfect move.
It reminds me of the
exposure.
quote that Howard Stern used to say in Private Parts. It's like, we've done the research here, Howard, and the people that love you watch you for an hour. The reason being, they just want to hear what you're going to say next.
Yeah.
The people that hate you watch for an hour and a half. Reason being, they want to see what you're going to say next.
Exactly. Sorry,
you go ahead.
Well, Chappelle has the best example of this. You know, he goes off on trans stuff, whatever, and then that trans lady attacked him. The black lady was tweeting about him, and then everybody's like, "Oh, well, let's look up your stuff." And it was like, "I'm going to kill this Asian N-word, and Asian people are gross, and I'm going to fight this homo," or whatever it was, and you're like, okay, now call her out. Why is the news calling her out a lot and getting her in trouble? But it's just like, well, let's attack Chappelle. That's the move here. And you're like, attack them both then. I don't know. I just feel like people pick and choose.
I think the bottom line with media is that they used to solve for being a journalist, telling the truth. Now it's solving for views.
Yes.
Well,
what's going to get clicks? What's going to get eyeballs? It's become the media shouldn't necessarily be a profit business.
Exactly. And look how many now. There's so many alternatives because of this.
Yeah.
But the question with Rogan, I think, for a lot of people was, does popularity give you responsibility to be a certain way? Because they're saying people are so influential. I mean, influenceable. Should he be like kept to the same standard that what our politicians are because they're so honest and truthful, or what, like big pharma, you know, at what level are we holding these people who become popular on their own accord by speaking their own language? Like they're saying he's dangerous because, I mean, first of all, I've dated a lot of guys now who are super Rogan, and I can see trends in the way they behave.
Sure.
But it's still up to them to.
What are the trends?
We're just gonna go with a little lacking in emotional IQ, for sure.
Right.
You're saying that's a common theme with Rogan fans?
Like, if you tell me you're a Rogan guy, like, I kind of can already piece together certain aspects of your personality.
Does that ultimately mean they're more of a man's man?
A man's man?
Yeah, I don't just, not like a beta boy or something.
Even that kind of terminology,
Somebody who might hit Chris Rock?
Is that's more beta?
Well, that's like, isn't that more alpha?
I don't know. Who even knows these days?
That's the thing. Everything's contradicting now, and we can't keep up. And there's all
liberals aren't liberal anymore. Conservatives, what the hell are they conservative? Who knows?
But I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Be the best version of yourself
with the Rogan stuff. But anybody getting political advice or science advice from Rogan's a fucking retard.
Just that's the whole point. Education. You still need to educate yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. You're saying don't go to Rogan for science class.
No. Look, you want to hear about aliens or elk or some shit? Yeah. Go no. Oh, this comic is on. I like Tom Segura. I'll listen to Rogan. To me, that's how I use it. And anybody like, well, he said don't get the value, so I'm not getting it. You're like, well, maybe you should do your own research and Google some shit before you. Just get everything from this guy. And then now everybody's blaming him. He's like, I'm a comedian. I'm doing a podcast. Listen or don't. Stop putting me in charge of your life. Cardi B said it. She's like, I'm not raising your kids.
Right.
I'm talking about my pussy. You raise your kids. Same with
Rogan.
Rogan.
It's a WAP.
It's a WAP.
All right, last Rogan question. I want you to be real, bro.
I've been real.
Okay, I know. That's why I know you're going to answer this.
All right.
For $200 million, would you keep it 100% real, Mark Norman, or maybe 99% real if there was 1% that you couldn't touch or talk about?
I wouldn't take the gig in the first place for $200 million. Too much responsibility, too many news stories. I don't like fame. It scares the shit out of me. I'm sensitive. I'm a cum guzzling cuck queef. I don't want all the hate and shit. It's a bummer to me. I like telling jokes and leaving.
So you don't want to like blow up, be the best comedian of all time, get famous, have your own crazy fucking specials, make $100 million bucks. You don't want that?
No. I don't. No one needs that much money. I live in New York. I do a fine living. I got a cat. You know.
Respect, bro. I got 2 cats. Respect to you, bro.
I want to have a scotch and put my feet up and jerk off. You know. I don't really want to. We call that the Louis. But I don't want to. You know. I don't want to.
Your feet wouldn't be up if it was the Louis.
The red carpet.
Was your girlfriend around during all this?
Oh yeah, I got a great lady. She's a nice gal and all that, and we have a cool life, and we were happy. And I've been attacked for dumb jokes before, and it hurt my feelings, and makes you just want to quit and go fuck it. And I don't. This fame shit is not. It's for the birds.
So it's interesting you say that because I want to transition to money right now, bro, but. It sounds like you're not doing comedy for all the accolades that come with it. Like you're genuinely a comics comic. I'm in it for the jokes. I'm not in it for everything that comes with it. The fame, the glamour, the tabloids, the money.
Right.
How do you balance that?
Well, obviously you want to sell tickets and you want to make some money and have a comfortable life. But I like to be, I'm trying to think of a good example of an actor who's just like, I like the roles, like a Tom Hardy.
Like a Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking actor.
Yeah, but less annoying. You know? He seems like a nightmare to hang out with. But yeah,
especially if he's in character.
Yeah.
As the butcher.
Right, exactly. Oh, God, all that meta shit where they're acting like that at the craft service table. You're like, all right, just hand me the Milky Way. You
Dude, you must piss a lot of people off by being so real.
Maybe. I'm sure everybody hates me.
But you probably find your tribe. They probably gravitate towards you.
That's
tribe.
Right. They're like, I hate this guy so much, I love him. Interesting. All right, so you're not in it for the money. You're not in it for the fame. You're just in it for the comedy. All right, well, let's talk money a little bit. Can we do that?
Please.
Let's talk money. So... how long did it take for you to actually start making money in comedy? I mean, like legitimate money, not like, hey, here's a couple bucks, kid, Drake joke, but like money.
I don't know, 12 years, 11 years. Yeah, yeah. You don't get in. It's going to take you 10 years of getting by, scraping by, especially living in Manhattan, which is everything's so expensive. But you got to love it, and you shouldn't get money that early because you're not good.
Really?
So
how long does it take for you to get good?
At least 8 or 9 or 10 years.
Dude, this isn't like... are you listening to this,
I'm
Amber?
listening.
You've been doing comedy how long?
A year.
A year?
Oh, wow.
So
Holy
what is
shit.
she right now? A fucking baby, an infant, and nobody? What is she?
A tadpole.
Yeah, I think you're newlywed. You know, it's all fun and roses, but it's tough. I mean, like, do you have an hour of material? You do?
Yeah, I started doing a headlining spots.
Holy, well, that's very advanced.
But I'm coming from an entertaining background.
Oh, that
So
helps.
the transition of like being on stage, the stage part is the easy part. Being just the writing brain isn't hard for me. It's just actually the crowd work and that. And in Miami, you never know really your audience. So just keeping adapting material.
And if
That's
she's
hard
in
for me,
Miami... Where is Miami on the, like, all right, that's a
Miami's
legit...
tough.
Like, New York is number 1 for comedy.
Yeah, I agree.
LA number 2, maybe, I don't know, Chicago, Denver.
Maybe
What's
Chicago.
your top 5 cities that, like, that is the fucking place to be? Like, our friend Marcelo, who you met, he moved out of Miami because he was one of the top guys in Miami, and now he's a fucking grinder in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, straight
Good
up.
for him.
Exactly. So what are the top places to do comedy?
New York's number 1. I think Austin might be getting there. I think Chicago is probably 2. LA is good for getting famous, getting seen. I don't think it's great for cultivating an act. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of guys like Jeselnik or Bill Burr or whatever, they started in New York and then moved to LA when they were already good.
Right.
So I think LA's tough to start out. But New York, I'd say, is great. I think Austin might be coming up. I don't know.
What's the most underrated? You're like, you wouldn't expect, but KC. I don't know.
Probably San Francisco is pretty great. Seattle, Denver, Philly.
You ever done the Comedy Works in Denver?
One of the best clubs.
Yeah, I used to perform there.
Really?
That's where I started. Yeah,
you were a comic?
Up. Yeah. That's
jeez, I didn't
back
know that.
in the day. Yeah, well, it didn't work out so well, and I got to fucking host a financial show.
Hey.
It stuck, wah.
Well, even Conan now quit his shit to do a podcast. So.
And apparently it's blown up.
Huge.
Yeah, well, Conan is like just... I know we don't use the term goat, but that guy...
He's my favorite.
He's
Late
awesome.
night,
When he
sure.
does his little...
Adam,
Can you do his little...
Yeah.
if you were still doing comedy, you wouldn't be as rich.
That's true.
That's a great point.
That's true. Thank you. That is actually very true.
But I'm just saying, I'm not trying to shit on a year into comedy. You got to start somewhere. But I will say, in 10 years, you're going to look back at this first year and go, I'm
not going to be able to watch.
Exactly.
By the way, that was like the most Norm Macdonald response. Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have one great Norm Macdonald story?
I don't. I only met him once, and he was super sweet. Couldn't have been nicer, but I know a great Norm joke. So he was on Weekend Update, and he did a joke about women being bad drivers, and the crowd went, boo. And he goes, well, I have you know, a woman wrote that joke. And they went, oh, okay. And he goes, I'm kidding. We don't hire women. Great joke. He's got $1 million.
Awesome, bro. And just kept everything private that he was doing
for
like 10 years.
In this victimhood society, he could have pulled that cancer card any moment.
It's one of those things where he's being recognized for his greatness.
Yeah.
After death.
That's what happens.
Let's get back to the money. Now, all right, so it took you 10 years of grinding, dealing with drama, nonsense, fucking horrible shit.
Sure.
Getting assaulted, living on nothingness.
Yeah, mugged 3 times.
You got mugged 3 times, exactly.
Yeah.
Who gets mugged once? Not as much as twice, 3 times. 3 times a charm.
Yeah.
So now when you start making money, how do you monetize? Like, how do you manage your money? Give us your best money advice story.
I'm the worst guy with money. I'm horrible with business. I got a money guy.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you have to pay for a money guy, but they help you keep your money. It's all very confusing. Yeah. So I got a money guy, and that changed everything. And then all I heard was buy property. So I saved up a ton of money, like $800K.
Sick.
And I just put it right into a tiny apartment and bought it. And it was scary, and the paperwork and the mortgage and blah, blah, blah. But, like, if you just zone out all that extra scary adult stuff, I think you can do it. So now I have this place, and I'm trying to sell it to buy a bigger place, and that's my plan now. But I'm not good with money. I have a savings account. I make like half a cent every year in interest, and I'm doing crypto. I've lost a ton of money on that. I lost a ton of money on Robinhood. So I'm trying, but I'm an idiot.
Well, I once heard you say, you bought an apartment in New York City. It's an apartment in New York City. Is that what you bought? And I'll quote you on this. You said that that's the only thing your parents are proud of that you've ever done. Not all the comedy, not a Tonight Show. Why are they so proud that you bought an apartment?
I think because it's substantial. It's like, oh, we can wrap our head around that. If I go, I got to the Comedy Cellar. They're like, who? The Cellar? Well, that doesn't sound great. You're like, no, it's good. And so the apartment is like, oh, you're an adult. You've grown up a little bit.
You're adulting.
Yeah.
Have you started to make actual money doing comedy, by the way?
A bit.
Okay.
$75.
Hey, that's a solid.
There you go.
And I won't say who, but somebody's asked me to ghostwrite for them.
Whoa, that's good money in that.
Yeah, so that's leveling up.
Hell yeah.
So what makes you so bad with money, dude?
I just never thought about it. I never had it growing up, and so I don't know. It was just like if I got money, I would just buy beer or buy food or buy whatever. So I never really learned how to save and all that shit. No one taught me about money. It's weird. We teach all this shit in school about like Pythagorean theorem. Teach me how to do my fucking taxes.
I know.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
I say that all the time. I go, we all go to school. We take the most useless classes, algebra, biology, chemistry. I took fucking wood shop. Buddy, if you don't know anything about me, I ain't cutting no wood. That's not happening.
We get it. You're Jewish.
Exactly. Thank you, Mark. But they don't teach you nothing about money.
No,
it's kind of ridiculous.
Or health.
Not
even just sex, just health in general.
Yeah, remember for the pyramid? It was like, eat bread, and then you learn bread's bad for you.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Bread makes you fat. Yeah, Michael Cera. So you never learned anything about money.
No.
What would you say is your best money habit and your worst money habit that you have?
I watched Oprah when I was like 12. I was just on. I was, eating breakfast, and it was like, this guy came on, this financial advisor, and he was like, let me see what you do in a day. You go to Starbucks, now you buy a $5 latte, then you take an Uber, then you go here, then you do this. And it was like all this shit adds up. And I remember hearing that like, yeah. And he's like, go buy the oatmeal, buy a bag of coffee, buy a coffee maker, and all that and it kind of blew my mind. Like, yeah, these little purchases really add up, and you don't need to buy all that shit, and don't go out to eat every night, and don't do delivery every night, blah, blah, blah. So that really stuck with me. Those little things add up. And people just go, it's $5, it's $8. That shit, it will kill you.
I call it death by 1,000 bites.
There you go.
There it is, And our buddy Marcelo, we brought his name up a few times. The guy, I'm like, how much money do you spend on Uber Eats?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, like $15. I go, that's every day. All right, so 15 times 7, and now we're at $150 or whatever. It's like, just go fucking grocery shop for $100. You're done for the week. Because never thought of that. Never thought of that, bro.
Yeah.
So,
and then on the flip side, you don't want to be the guy saving a bunch but not making any money. So, like, if you want that Uber Eats, you got to make enough to where that doesn't affect you. Mm-hmm. Instead of just saving up, I'm going to save up and buy Uber Eats. I've been saving. But no, keep making more money instead of saving. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me get your thoughts. Believe me, you have a financial advisor, but I want to get your thoughts on these conversations with your financial advisor. Okay. When they bring up these asset classes, I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind, be as hilarious as you want with it, or be as, all right, so when someone says that you're investing in the stock market, what comes to mind?
I just feel panic and I freak out because this is all beyond me. So I just go, oh, whatever, you do it. So like if a guy comes up and he goes, I got a great opportunity, you got to invest in this, I'd be like, all right. You could totally ruin my life with some bullshit investment opportunity. I would fall for that in a second. And I have.
What is it about the stock market that's intimidating? Is it the fact that it's bulls, bears, ups, down, left, right, green, red? What is it that's intimidating?
I think it's that you have no control over it. It changes every day. Even the idea of stock, like you own part of the company, that doesn't resonate with me. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Do I have say? Can I fire that guy?
If you're a major shareholder.
Oh, really?
It'd be like, what happens if you owned 1% of the Comedy Cellar?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Do I get money?
Yeah.
And I lose money?
Possibly.
Okay, well, that helps a little.
And the better that the comedians do, the better jokes that are being told, the more money you make. If the comedians start bombing and everyone sucks and everyone clears the room, you start losing money.
Ah, okay.
But it's weird that you get all panicky about it because all the things you said are just like comedy. You have no control over it.
You do. You can write jokes. You can be funny.
Control, for sure, but you have no control over the environment. You can control how much money you put in or take out, but you don't know what the response is going to be, the cause and effect.
That's true. But I can go back home, rewrite the joke, listen to the joke, tweak it.
Fix it.
I feel like I get to decide what's said up there, So I feel like I have a little more control. I see what you're saying, but the business...
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is just...
Sounds like I could sell you anything. I got a great investment for you, Mark Norman.
I would totally buy it.
Speaking of buying it, you bought real estate. When you think of the real estate market, what comes to mind?
Well, that I like because I can see it. It's a building. It's a unit.
Tangible.
It's tangible, yeah. And I can live in it, too. And then I can rent it. And sure, there's all this jargon with the mortgage guy. And I just go, and I pretend to listen. And he sends me a long email. And I pretend to read it. And I go, yeah, it looks great. I don't know anything it is. You could totally screw me over in the fine print. But that, at least real estate, I can see it. I can touch it.
Yeah.
So that helps.
You can touch it. It's tangible. Okay.
Yeah.
Crypto. You said you invest in crypto. You can't touch that. What are your thoughts on crypto,
also,
Bitcoin?
Even more elusive than stocks. It's like it's a coin, but it's not a coin, but it takes up all this memory and Elon Musk, and it's out of China.
It's a whole culture.
Yeah, it has weird names. He's in a turtleneck. It's too much. If it was actually a coin, I might get it more.
Yeah, but the whole point is that it's not a coin, so you can't get stolen.
I know.
But you want to touch it like real estate, but you can't. But you got to talk about it, and it's got cute little memes and Dogecoin and Elon Musk.
Right.
So, but are you more of if you had to pick one to invest in long term, would you be more stock market or more crypto?
Probably more stock. Just because
why is that?
It's older. My dad's heard of it, Bitcoin is like transgender. I pretend to get it, and then I just move on.
Gotcha.
And I give them money.
Speaking of crypto and Bitcoin, what are your thoughts on NFTs?
Oh, now we're getting even crazier. It feels like they're just trying to trick me.
Yes. They probably are, by the way.
Yeah, they probably are.
But
and
NFTs are probably the ones that could benefit you the most in your comedy. And
you think?
Yeah. Right? Wouldn't you agree?
The first joke you've ever told, your first tweet.
Interesting.
Great thought by Amber.
Okay, but
I feel like NFTs are on artist side the most that we can.
Oh, okay.
It's my joke encapsulated as an NFT, and then every time it's sold, I profit off of it, as opposed to a YouTube video that if you're not monetizing.
Okay.
Right, Adam? Am I learning things here?
Hey, I don't know. Don't buy NFTs, is my opinion.
Oh, really?
Until you've saved money, invested in the stock market, maybe done some real estate, and then start buying like Bitcoin or more I'm going to use this word, traditional crypto assets.
Yeah.
And then maybe an NFT. It's all about asset allocation. Right?
I know.
That word you hear.
I don't
what do you,
like
what do
it
you think the
either.
word asset allocation means?
I don't know.
Like breast implants.
Yeah, or ass implants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What does it mean?
Well, I mean, they basically say that everyone should have, these days with crypto, I'll add this, but asset allocation is like you should have a certain amount in cash, you should have a certain amount in stocks, and a certain amount in bonds.
Diversifying.
Those are like the big three. Diversification. I don't want to blow your mind here, Mark,
Sure.
but that's your different asset allocation. And then within that, so like for me, let's say I have $1 million. Let's just say, all right, I've got $100,000 in cash. Done. Boom.
Okay.
I've got it like liquid.
Yes.
Liquid. I've got, let's say, $500,000 in investments. What does that mean? All right, so that's 401k, Roth IRA, traditional stock stuff. And then a small sliver in bonds. I'm not a conservative guy, so a little of that. And now let's say I've got, maybe it's a little bit more than $500,000. So let's say $600,000-700,000. So now the remaining 20%, that's where you can kind of get a little spunky. All right, maybe some crypto, maybe some Bitcoin, maybe some, Forex trading. But for the majority of people, you should have cash.
Yep.
You should have the stock market. And then, obviously real estate. Like, so for instance, I don't buy real estate. I don't need to touch it. I get the market, so I don't need to I don't need to touch it. I'm good.
Yeah.
I actually like the fact that it's on my fucking phone. I'll take it anywhere I want to go. But I invest in something called REITs. Do you know what REITs are?
Oh.
Yeah.
REITs.
Yeah, so it stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts. So rather than buying one piece of property, imagine if you owned your whole condominium unit, but just a piece of it, like a stock, but of real estate. So you can diversify with that. Am I blowing your mind a little bit right now?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, we could talk. We could sidebar on this.
All right.
So
This is fascinating.
So, but what's your biggest money lesson for young people out there? Because you've made money, bro. If you're saying you dropped $800,000 an apartment, you're not like, I don't know. I just found $800,000 on the floor one day.
But that money is gone. That's the problem. People
it's not gone. It's in
real
in
estate.
a real estate asset.
That's a good point.
So, what's your best advice when it comes to money?
I think you should listen to people. You should invest. You should, if you don't get it, get someone who does get it. Because if you're not going to figure it out, then get the help. And I think buy stuff and listen to people and have a job that makes money.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well, they say that
do something with your money.
Actually, do you know that what your best asset is? Like, what's your number one asset that you have?
Probably
that
that apartment.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Oh.
You want to know what your number one asset is?
My brain?
Yes, bro. Your ability to make money by telling fucking jokes.
All right.
Because you could earn $100,000 a year, whatever, $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, and all of a sudden you're $800,000 a little apartment. Who gives a shit about that? It's your ability to make sure that you can continually make income. That's your number one asset.
Ooh.
There you go.
I like that.
You are your most important asset, Mark Norman.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish you were my dad.
Yeah. Well,
what were your side
my son.
hustles while you were doing that 10-year grind?
I did everything. I was a temp, which I hated. I worked as a registrar at a school. So I had to kick kids out for being not attending enough classes.
Right.
That was a nightmare. And I moved furniture for years. I worked on a construction site, and then the best gig, janitor.
I was gonna say
janitor.
Yeah.
What's the best job for a comedian that's comedy adjacent? But the truth is, anything life is going to help you with your material. So any kind of job, it doesn't really matter. It's not like with an actor, you want to do something like real estate or waitressing because it's in front of people. But comedy, you just need to be somewhere you can observe life happen.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I gotta imagine you're a fan of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, great
It's like
show.
my favorite show. You ever seen the episode where Charlie is the janitor?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to watch that.
I'll watch
Especially
that
if you were a
tonight.
janitor. He's giving kids advice. He's breaking up fights. He's he's telling the principal. He goes into the principal's office. Yeah, the kid was real dirty, so I took him to the showers. I gave him a shower. He's like, you gave the kid a shower? What are you doing, Charlie?
That's
Well,
great.
what was it like being a janitor?
I loved it because sure, you're cleaning up shit. You're pulling a possum out of the ventilation duct and shit.
Actually?
but,
Is that
yeah,
okay?
well, it was a rat. But yeah, so that part sucked. But I had my headphones in all day. I was thinking about jokes. I was a broke comedian just trying to make it. I would go in the boiler room for lunch and write for an hour every day. That was like my big thing. And head down, no brain power. Nothing worse than answering the phone, getting yelled at. Hey, $1 billion short of $1 million, all that shit. And the elevator, and then bullshitting with the other employees is a nightmare. So I think everybody thought I was a heroin addict. Why is this kid mopping floors? What's his deal? He must have killed a guy or something. So
how old were you at the time when you did that?
I was probably like 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good-looking white boy janitor. They're like, he's clearly doing drugs.
Yeah. So
it turns out it was. I was addicted to meth. It was a problem. That's funny, dude.
Yeah. Great gig.
Okay. Well, why do you ask that question about comedy-adjacent jobs?
Well, you said, the best advice is to do a job that makes you money. So obviously comedy is not that for the next 10 years for me. So I'm just trying to figure out what I can do that will still nurture the comedy brain. Like you said, if you need a job that doesn't take up too much of the storage in your mind, because all my best jokes are doing, like when I'm doing menial tasks and I'm not thinking, that's when something comes to me. So what for this next 10-year journey, what can I do to make money that is still gonna facilitate the dream, that I can go out and do the gigs at night? I don't have to wake up early for a 9 to 5.
Cool.
You want to keep that night free. That's the key.
The night has to be free.
Yeah.
We've got about a half hour left. Are we going to take calls at the end? Does that just scare you? Do we have time for calls?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, cool.
I'll have to leave the studio, though.
Oh, God.
No, John, you've been killing it so far. I don't know if we need you to leave, bro.
We need you for diversity.
But maybe we'll do calls like around like 3:50, and then we can wrap up right at 4, and then boom, we're having a great time. We'll go get drunk.
All right.
Before we transition to more dating type stuff like that, do you have like one comedy, one money joke that comes to mind? I've heard you say something about like
I don't know.
Gay people and broke people have a lot in common, or how about like gay people? Is that something that comes to mind?
Yeah, gay people and poor people have a lot in common. We're born that way. Our parents are just gonna go. You try to tell your parents to go. Yeah, we know. That was the big punchline. But sorry, I can't remember there was 3 of them. We're born that way. Something
the rule
else.
of 3. Something is missing.
Yeah, and then the third one was, and your parents. You try to tell your parents, and they're like, "Yeah, we know. Like we know you're broke, and we always knew you were gay."
We just
basically.
knew. We knew. We knew the whole time.
Brings you to your knees.
There you go.
Let's talk dating for a second, and what's it like? So you're recently engaged, or you're getting married soon? What's your
Getting
deal?
married in November. Yeah. Lucky. He's a lucky guy. Met a great gal. She understands my weirdness and is fine with my penis size. And
that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Not the penis.
Not the penis.
The fact that she accepts you.
Yeah, and she's cool, and we have a great time, and we're teammates, and we're working towards a fun life.
So she's a comedian as well?
She's a comedian and a podcaster and a hot lady.
That's awesome. So a comedian, hot, cool?
Hey!
You sure that's not a dude, bro?
She does have a huge clit.
Literally.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
hey,
way to
good
go.
album. Literally.
See, you can be cool, you can be hot, and you can be funny. Amber, well, there's going to be a lot of dudes out there sliding your DMs, I assume.
Yet.
Literally. That's I couldn't find your album.
So how does your relationship work, career-wise, because you're both comedians, and then how does it work financially? Like, do you have those conversations? How does that work?
That's a big part of a comedian trying to find a partner is like, we have the worst schedule. I think a lot, especially for a guy, I can't speak for the ladies, but as a guy, I would meet women and date them, and they'd be like, it's so cool you're a comedian, I think that's awesome, and I'm like, great. Then I'm like, I gotta go do a show. They're like, what? And I'm like, I thought you liked that as a comedian. They're like, I do, but I don't want you to not be around every night.
Yeah, I like that you're funny, I just don't like that you're not home being funny.
Yes, exactly.
Like, it doesn't work that way.
Can't have it both ways. So she got it, she gets it, and, are making money, too, so it's like, oh, you're going to go to Florida? Oh, must be nice. I'm like, well, I'm working, and I'm going to bring back a big stack of cash. So, yeah, I'll be back. And also, I like being alone a lot. Nothing against her. I'm an introvert. I'm a weirdo. So I like the hotel room. I like writing. I like seeing new cities. I like performing. So it's not for everybody, dating a comedian. But she gets it, and that's a big part of why it works.
And how long has she been doing comedy?
She's probably 3 years.
So she's still a baby in this business.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And what was it about her that you're like?
We're both weird together, I feel like I'd go on dates and I'd have to like curb myself, and then when I was myself, people were horrified, and she wasn't, and she vibed with my weirdness, and she's weird and she's different, So just this is getting a little mushy, but it just worked out. You get when you feel it, you feel it.
That's cool.
Do you guys have conversations about what's allowed on stage in terms of, since you're both comedians that people know now? You can't just talk about your nebulous girlfriend anymore.
No, she wants me to talk about her more.
Okay.
Yeah.
She wants it to be known that she's a girlfriend.
Exactly.
She has the biggest
she's your fiance. Yeah, that's actually her claim to fame.
Huge.
Amber, would you rather date a comedian, or do you want to be the funny person?
I don't care about being the funny person. That does not have anything to do with. Actually, that's usually the guy's opening line on the apps. They're like, "Oh, I don't know if I can handle not being the funny one in this relationship."
I hate those guys because I couldn't date a girl if she wasn't funny.
100%.
I'm the opposite, yeah.
Another one was like, "Oh, you're an exception to the rule." I was like, "What's the rule?" He's like, "Well, usually women aren't funny." I'm like, "And you thought by saying this, it was going to make me want to go out with you?"
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, but I'm complimenting you." I'm like, "But I'm like minimizing my entire gender's contribution to my career." But like, yeah,
Right.
hot.
Wink.
Right. No, I wouldn't want to date a comedian.
You would not. Why not? Why not?
I think that a lot of comedians come from a trauma and
Oh, yeah.
anxiety.
Oh yeah.
And
The good ones, anyway.
Right. And I think that there's, I like dating people with different life perspectives. If you date two people who are kind of always looking at the where's the joke, that's also great. But for somebody to balance, I'm like, hey, this is funny. Hey, this is serious. Let's like be responsible for a second. That would probably serve me better.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I get that. Comedians tend to be selfish, narcissistic pieces of garbage. So
Except for you and your girlfriend.
Yeah, no, I tell you, once again, I found a good one. But I think you got something there, and you want to mix it up. You want a yin and a yang. You don't want two yangs.
I mean, nothing against you, gangs.
Nothing against Andrew Yang and his wife,
who might be here pretty soon. We'll see about that.
Oh, I have voted for him.
Really?
Yeah,
All
I love
right.
Yang.
Well, we'll send him your regards.
Stop
if
Asian
he shows
hate.
up. That's true. You've once said, speaking of women and dating, you once said that women can say whatever they want to a guy, but it doesn't work that other way around.
Sure.
That a guy can't say. You basically gave an example how women want the strong, silent type. What, you familiar with this?
I love that
Yeah.
joke.
Oh,
What was that?
thanks. A lot of women hate that joke, so I appreciate it.
Tell that joke and tell that story.
I got hours of material, so I can't remember all of it. But basically, it was like a woman told me she wanted a strong, silent type, and I'm like, I could never say that to a woman. What are you looking for in a woman? Quiet.
Yeah.
Don't talk that much or something.
Shut
like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's just look. We always do this like male privilege or white privilege, but like the truth is every group has privileges, and we only talk about certain like
Parts of them.
Yeah, if I see a white guy on the bus playing loud music, I'm like, dude, you're being rude. There's other people on the bus. If I see a black guy on the bus playing loud music, I just let it go because he's black and I'm sure he's been through enough, So that's a black privilege right there. Like there's privileges to every group. Women have privileges. Like a woman could go, geez, you put on a few pounds, but I wouldn't go, hey, fatty, how you doing there, sister? You change certain things. That's why this whole like men and women are the same. We're equal. We're not equal, and we don't want to be equal. By the way, like if Will Smith had slapped Amy Schumer, this would be a different headline.
Yeah.
But I thought we were all the same. Everybody's full of shit. So some women can say shit men can't say, and men can say shit. Wait. Women can say shit that men can't say,
Gotcha.
100%.
There's certain things that you'll let slide based on who they are, what their
Right.
gender is, what their race is.
Right.
I get
When you told me he was going to be on the show, that was the thing that I said about you that I think I appreciate the most, that what you say in other people's mouths would be offensive.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
But there's something, I think, when people say, oh, you can't say anything anymore, I disagree. I think if things are coming from intellect being the number one, intellect and truth and a good person, I'm going to throw that out. I don't know you personally, but
Hey, thanks.
from
You
the
seem like one.
from
Or
the
you
vibe.
you play one on TV.
I only have
I
4
think you
kids
can-
in my
I
basement.
think you can get away with a lot more saying criticism. Also, you don't stick to one area, like you said. You comment on everything.
Right.
You're not choosing sides in any gender, race, sexual
Got it.
orientation. Then you can say whatever the fuck you want, and people are gonna laugh and give you like, it's just Mark being Mark.
That I completely agree. Thank you for saying that. And that is the rule now. Like back in the 80s, you could go, black people are always late. And now you have to do a joke where you make the guy saying black people are always late the bad guy in the
Right.
joke. But you're still saying the same thing. You just have to change the structure of it now. And that's comedy.
People want permission to laugh,
Yes.
and now
I
they're not
feel
just
like-
laughing freely.
I mean, Dave Chappelle has been dealing with it, but I feel like comedians are so sacred because they're the ones who can actually tell it the way it is and not feel the wrath of society and being judged and being canceled. If it's funny, or even if it's, that's true. But then who's the judge of the funny? And then blah, blah, blah. Then we go down the slippery slope. But women can say things that men can't say. You said something about like women are height supremacists, something like that?
Yeah, sure.
What's that thought?
Well, it's like if a woman says, I like a guy over 6 feet, every guy's like, fuck, shit, I wish I was taller. But if a guy's like, I like a skinny chick with big boobs, people are like, hey, what a creep or what a misogynist. And I think it's this weird double standard. But again, it all goes back to women being judged by their looks and women not getting things because of this. Like a short guy can still succeed, a short guy can still get laid, too, if he's funny or smart or rich. So, but
not to do your punchline, but a girl can work out and a guy can't get any taller.
That also is true. Yeah. But I think women are fucked. Like if a woman is smart, rich, and funny, but ugly, I think she's still gonna struggle finding a guy.
Yes, she is.
So that's sucks.
Because guys are visual and women are audio. Like women like to hear
audio. We're audio.
What's the? Why can't I think? Women are
emotional. I don't know.
I know what you
guys
mean.
think with their eyes. Women think with their ears. They like you have to say certain like that's why women wear makeup and men lie.
Right.
Yeah,
you've heard this before.
Yes, I've heard this before.
I like that.
Thoughts on women getting breast implants?
Do what you got to do. A lot of guys get hair transplants, so it's all about how you want to look. I do get annoyed when women say, "I got these for me," and you're like, "All right, well." Can I see them?
Do you even know what a BBL is, Mark Norman?
A big, beautiful lady?
Is that what that is?
No, Brazilian butt lift.
Oh.
So they take the fat from your stomach and
Come
put it
on,
in your
Mark.
ass.
How'd you miss the
Sorry.
butt?
I'm
I
in
missed it,
Miami.
too.
It's because he's only in Dania.
I saw 8 on the way here, but
Right.
I think they're a little much. Like I like a big ass as much as the next guy.
Hey, I agree.
It's gotta look somewhat realistic.
We're going to take calls in a couple minutes. I want to get your thoughts on...
It helps having a lady here, by the way, because otherwise we'd sound like 2 fucking assholes.
I agree.
That's the only reason I am here.
That's the reason. Well,
I'm
she's
for the joke
smart,
structure.
she's funny, she's
Thank
pretty,
you.
she's got it going on.
Sure.
Dude, you got to tell your virginity story.
Oh, I'll make it quick. It's crazy.
I heard
Just
you.
like it,
Exactly. Go ahead.
There we go. Comedy. It was the New Year's Eve of the millennium change. So it was the Y2K buzz in the air. So everything was a little kooky. This is 1999. Me and my friends, as you do, we go down to Bourbon, and there's a woman on a balcony just flashing everybody. A hot older lady, kind of looked like Jennifer Aniston after a fist fight. She'd seen a few winters, and she's like, this is pre-internet porn, so it was like you see tits, you watch. And she catches our eye and goes, you guys want to come up? And we're like, oh, my God. We try to go up. They won't let us. She comes down, and she goes, you kids want to throw some beads? And we're like, oh, I thought she was, like, trying to fool around with us. But turns out she's, like, this very maternal thing. Like, yeah, you kids. So my friend is elbowing me, like, just ask her. What do you got to lose?
Ask her what? You already knew.
Like, make a move, basically. Yeah. And I was like, fuck it.
You're how old, by the way?
I'm 16.
Okay.
And I go, I don't want to go to 2000 a virgin. And she goes, well, I won't let you. And she brought me upstairs. She opened the door.
The comedy brain, right? Then and there.
Exactly.
Early on.
She brought me upstairs, the Ramada Hotel, room 239. I'll never forget it. I'm slightly autistic. And she opens the door, and there's an old guy with a white beard and a Harley Davidson hat, leather jacket. And he goes, which one is it? She points to me. And he goes, all right, you two, to my other friends, come out on the balcony.
Scram, kids.
Yeah, he had a case of beer out there with a cooler. They close the balcony doors. She hits the blinds. Boop. And then me and her just go at it for like an hour and a half.
Straight up. Your first time, hour and a half, Mark?
I never finished. I was so nervous. I panicked. She said, how do you want to do this? I said, I'll take a blowjob first, because I'd never got one of those either. And she goes, I don't give blowjobs. And I go, you fuck kids off the street? You don't give blowjobs? She hated that. And she goes, anything else? I go, are you clean? She goes, you want to do this or not? I said, I'm sorry. And she basically got naked in front of me, and I took my jacket off, And I was so nervous about my junk that I just put the dick through the boxer hole because I didn't want to see my balls because I was so uncomfortable.
What?
I don't know. It was too vulnerable. And, we went to town.
Are you guys still in touch?
No, she's got to be dead. She's in a river somewhere, I'm sure. But, yeah, I think that was their kink. Like, they were a husband and wife. Or she was a prostitute and she didn't charge me. But she kept being like, well, where do you live? Well, we should do this again. And I was like, I don't want you knocking on my door.
But you're friends, and what
Let's
kind of
keep in touch.
conversation did they have outside?
So they
for
got
an hour?
hammered, and then
Right.
he opened the doors. They fell in. They're like, we got sloppy seconds. And then I was like, we're getting out of here. I felt like a wave of shame when it all ended. It was a lot to take in. Also, I guess I'm a survivor because she was older and I was 16, but I don't give a shit. I had a great time.
You're the original Me Too movement, right there.
Yeah, here.
Well, congrats, bro, on banging this random
Thank
old
you,
lady
thank you.
to lose your virginity. That's great.
Lovely woman. I appreciate it. If you're out there, thank you. Praise Allah.
We got about 15 minutes left. We'll take some phone calls towards the end. John, I'm sure you hear me. I want to I want to do a little game with you, a little bit, okay?
Okay.
You've traveled all across the country doing comedy, right?
Every weekend.
Every weekend. Are there any states you have not visited?
Never been to Alaska.
Okay.
I'd love to go. I hear it's pretty rough over there.
Any place you
And
got?
Sarah
Any
Palin,
place
you
other
heard the
than
word.
that?
What's that?
Any other places you haven't been in the country?
That's it. I've been
All
everywhere
right.
else.
Well, here's this report. They did a study, a 2022 study. It's a recent report, and it's called the most and the least stressed U.S. states. So Wallet Hub compared all 50 states based on 40 different measurements in 4 specific categories: work-related stress, money-related stress, family-related stress, and health and safety-related stress. I'll read that again. Wallet Hub compared all 50 states on 40 different measurements in 4 different categories that included work-related stress, money-related stress, family-related stress, and health and safety-related stress. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read you the 10 most stressed out states.
Yep.
And I want to get your initial thoughts on each of these states. First thing that comes to mind. And then the most chilled out states, get your thoughts on these.
Well, number one's got to be Wuhan.
That's true.
That's tough over there.
International. That's the international edition.
Hey, number two's got to be the Ukraine.
Yeah, that's not pretty right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you the state, and then you just say, hey, I've been there. This is what's going on, blah, 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 blah.
All right.
This is from a world-class comedian who's been all over the country, and their thoughts on their states. Yeah, that's you. That's you, by the way. There's nobody else here.
Got it.
Well, I am. All right, so the number 10 most stressed out state, like top, there's 50 states. I don't know if you knew that. There's 50.
Yep.
There's 50 these days.
Not according to QAnon.
Exactly.
Okay.
The 10th most stressed out state is Tennessee. Thoughts on Tennessee?
Tennessee's tough because it's a southern state, but it's kind of high up for a southern state. Not a lot going on there. They had their BB King, they had their soul and all that blues shit. But now it seems like it's just Nashville. Mm-hmm. Without Nashville, I don't know where Tennessee would be.
Yeah.
But Nashville's great. I love it. And they're hanging on to that honky-tonk shit.
They are.
That seems, Whitey is kind of not cool anymore, and country seems whatever, and Kid Rock's a joke. But they're hanging on, so I got to respect that.
All right. They're the 10th most stressed out state. 9th most stressed out state is Texas.
Ooh, I believe it. Your governor's in a wheelchair. It's hot as shit. You got the fucking power grid going out. Austin's blowing up. Don't make us California. Houston, the traffic is crazy. Everybody's fat as hell. So I get it.
There it is.
And you got Texas right below you. I mean, Mexico.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's true. The 8th most stressed out state, Alabama.
Oh, that's shocking. Why? Well, NASA's there. So I think with the yokels, the toothless hillbillies plus NASA, I think there's a lot of headbutting going on there.
In the supermarket.
Yeah.
Number 7 is Oklahoma, right above Texas.
I forgot that was a state.
Yeah, they're there.
You don't think about Oklahoma. There's a great comedy club there, but I don't know much about it. It's weird because they're OKC. We're okay. Yeah. That's their.
What's the capital of Oklahoma?
Oklahoma City?
No, I think it's Normand.
No, I would
Normand,
know
Oklahoma.
I
don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think it's a
But
capital.
they do have a city called Norman, Oklahoma.
That's true.
So I assume that's your favorite city in Oklahoma.
I want to get out of me.
You're like, no, I hate myself.
Yeah, I don't want to be near me.
Oklahoma City.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, John. Number 6 is Arkansas.
Ooh, Arkansas, Little Rock. Bill Clinton's from there. That's about all I know.
That's about all they're stressed about, I guess.
Yeah. What are they stressed about?
I don't know. Bill Clinton's touching, doing some diddling. Who knows?
He was on Epstein's plane.
Yeah. Number 5 is Mississippi.
Damn. I figured these were these
laid back.
Yeah, they get a jug with 3 X's on it, sit on a porch with an iced tea.
Stressed out.
Maybe they're farming or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe it's.
You ever played in Biloxi, Mississippi?
I have. I bombed horribly. But
Yeah.
I think fucking your family is weighs on the mind a little.
Yeah, that's never a good look. A lot of these states kind of suck. And here's one of the states that might suck the most. Well, according to this poll, is number 4 most stressed out. That's West Virginia, bro.
Yeah, that's another one. I don't know anything about it. I know they got a lot of opioids over there. I know they used to mine coal. And that's all I know. I should pop over there. I hear there's some beautiful areas.
Number 3, New Mexico.
Ooh.
I love how every state gets ooh.
Yeah, I'm shocked by every one.
Yeah.
New Mexico. It's hot as shit. It's dry. There's Roadrunners, Breaking Bad.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of meth, a lot of heat.
Yeah.
Not for me.
We're just getting
Not
the
for
spark
you.
notes on each state.
That's true. This is what we wanted. Number 2, Nevada.
Wow. Well, you ever been to Reno?
No, I stay in Vegas.
I spent a year, one night there. It is a nightmare. Reno is the armpit of Nevada. It smells. It's fucked up. Everybody's gross. If you got any juice, you go to Vegas.
Of course.
You know? But I don't even love Vegas that much.
Yeah, Vegas is not what's all cracked up to be.
Yeah.
And number 1, I'm just going to get a drum roll here. What do you think the number 1 state, number 1 most stressed out state is?
Damn. Well, it's tough to say because I didn't predict any of those other ones. So I'll say Florida.
You're wrong, bro. It's your home state of Louisiana.
Oh, wow. That's hard to believe. We're all party. I mean, it's only one city. But it's tough to do a whole state because every city is so different
That's
from every
true.
other city.
That's true.
So, I mean, how different from Tallahassee is Miami?
Oh, yeah.
Very different.
know?
I went to school in Tallahassee. It's not the same.
Not the same.
So what's going on in Louisiana that they're stressed out? Some of the Raging Cajuns, the Bayou. What's going on there, Bobby Boucher?
Well, we got hurricanes. That's
Yeah,
no joke.
that'll
Yeah,
stress
I
you
would
the fuck
say
out.
that would probably be the number 1.
It's hot as balls. We got mosquitoes. We got gators. We got swamp. Everything's wet. Everybody's ugly. It's not a great... New Orleans wasn't a great place to grow up. Great city, but growing up, it's kind of like your dad sells drugs. All your friends think it's cool, but you're like, I could use a hug and a vegetable. You know?
What do you know about Chalmette, Louisiana, by the way?
I've spent a lot of time in Chalmette.
Let me tell you, I'm at a bar one time. This is my one Louisiana story. New Orleans. Miss Mays.
Yeah.
Everything's $1 there. I
grew
felt
up there.
Respect. Dude.
Yeah, I love
Next
Miss
time we
Mays.
hang, go there. So I'm at this bar. I take my buddy there. I'm like, dude, I'm the king of the world,
Yeah.
bro. Miss Mays. Everything's $1, literally.
Yes.
I see this girl from across the bar, and the bartender goes, yeah, that girl bought you a drink. It's like 15 years ago, I don't know, whatever it was. I go, oh, really? I go, which girl? Look over it. And I to this day, the prettiest girl I've ever seen
Come
in my life.
on. I don't believe it.
Gorgeous, beautiful. And I'm
Wow.
like, is Ashton Kutcher here? What is happening
Yeah.
right now? And I take the shot. I give a hey, and my buddy's like, dude, go over there, talk to her. I'm like, okay, all right. Like, nervous, gorgeous. I get over there, and because she's at the bar stool. I see like titties up.
I'm thinking wheelchair.
I get down. No, not wheelchair.
Big dick.
I get down, and the roundest, most like, not a good voluptuous, just the roundest bottom stomach area I've ever seen. Like, I was like, oh! I'm like, this is why she's buying people drinks. This is why
Right.
she's sitting at the bar.
So you didn't do it.
No, I didn't do it.
How was the sex?
It was awesome, bro. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I think a lady would feel like that if a guy stood up and he was about a foot tall, you know?
Yes, that's true.
It's tough.
Anyway, so Louisiana, hope you guys get better. Now, let's real quickly, and then we'll get into some phone calls, and we'll wrap up with Mark. These are the least stressed out states. So basically the happiest states in America.
Okay.
So we're going to basically start at 41, right? Because the number 1 is Louisiana, the most stressed out.
Yeah.
And then we went down to all the woo states down there.
Sure.
So 41, which is the number 10 least stressed state, is New Jersey.
Oh, I like Jersey. Jersey gets a bad rap. It does smell like shit there, but you got the mob, but it's also very suburban, big mall, the Jets, the Devils. I like Jersey. It's right by New York, but you don't have the stress of New York.
Yeah. Well, it's still pretty expensive and high taxes, but
True,
the best guys,
true.
apparently people are okay with the taxes. 42, Nebraska.
Ah, corn. That'll get you.
That's it. Moving
And
on.
Warren
43.
Buffett.
That's true. Oracle of Omaha. 43. So the 7th least stressed out and the 3rd happiest place, 7th happiest place, I guess, is Massachusetts. Beantown, Boston.
Mass.
I love
Great,
Mass.
great place. Great place. All the best people come out of Mass.
Really?
Yeah.
So smart, but then also so passionate about their city. They're loyal.
You
Yeah.
been?
I went to school in Boston.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, it explains a lot.
Hey.
Where did you go to school?
Emerson.
Oh, great school.
Yeah.
Also, you got this kind of blue-collar, Irish, sarcastic vibe mixed with MIT and Harvard.
Yeah.
So
Such a
it's good
dichotomy,
mix.
the old and the new.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's cool. Well, shout out to the massholes out there. Number 44, North Dakota.
Oh, well, they got nothing going on.
Nothing,
They're
but
chilling.
they're not stressed out.
No. Good for
They got a
them.
lot of snow and apparently
Ignorance
some
is bliss.
casinos. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
45, this is understandable, Hawaii.
Oh, I thought that'd be number
they'd
one.
be number one.
Yeah. Number one's going to shock you.
I will say there's a lot of beef going on with the locals and the
Yeah, I was gonna say,
the whitey.
the tourists.
Yeah.
Did you watch
the
that
beef?
show?
What's the
What was
beef?
that?
No.
No.
I can't remember.
Hawaii
it, but-
5-0?
No, it was about all these like mega rich people on at the resort, and there was a murder. Forgot the name.
Oh, White Lotus.
That one.
There
Did you
it
watch
was.
it?
I loved it.
It was so good.
So good.
46, it's close by to Massachusetts. Maybe that's why. That's New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah. Live free or die.
yeah,
that's
it's,
true.
It's pretty.
Yeah, you like that? Well, did you visit that?
Yeah, it was like the only place you could drive
There
easily.
it was.
Drunk.
47, Wisconsin.
Ah, Wisconsin's great.
Yeah.
Nice people.
Madison, where do you go?
Madison's beautiful, underrated town. They got the seasons there. It's freezing, and then the summers are beautiful. It's nice. Milwaukee's a bunch of good, clean, fat
Double R.
folk. Yeah.
Cheese eating good old folk.
Yeah.
Good respect to you, Wisconsin.
Cheese curd, drunk Germans.
Number 48, you're going to shit on it just like North Dakota, is South Dakota.
There you go. Good for them. They got Sioux Falls. The crime is low there.
That's true.
Nice.
Well, there's not that many people there. That's probably why the crime is so low.
True.
Now, 49, this is my mom's from. I got a lot of love for this state. This is Minnesota.
Oh, I love Minnesota. Minneapolis is a hell of a town. The
Really?
Twin Cities, yeah, like Pillsbury, 3M, all this cool shit comes out of Minneapolis. Prince, Bob Dylan. I love Minneapolis.
Kirby Puckett,
Yay! There you go.
Kevin Garnett.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, there we go. I love the woo.
Those are the three blacks. They got out.
They got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And the least stressed out state in America. Do you want to take a guess, or should I just give it to you?
Florida or New York.
It is neither of those. It is freaking Utah.
Oh, those goddamn Mormons.
Yes.
The multiple wives.
Yes.
The no coffee, no booze. I get it.
But it's why do you, you've been to Salt Lake? You've been to
just skiing in Park City.
Exactly. That's what everyone's doing. They're
Yeah.
skiing or they're banging a couple of their wives. That's pretty much it.
There you go.
Just a couple.
You spent time in Utah?
Never.
Okay.
It's a good comedy club there.
I figured Colorado would be on this list.
Oh,
Colorado's good
yeah.
living. It's next to Utah. I don't know why Colorado's this. Well, anyway, if we left your state off this list, I'm sorry to offend you.
That's fine.
By the way, do you have any good impressions of anybody from Delaware?
No, I don't know what.
Do you remember the Wayne's World when he's like, you've seen Wayne's World,
Sure.
Of course, you grew
Love
up.
it.
Mike Myers, by the way, one of the most underrated comedians of all time. And what happened to him?
Austin Powers.
And also amazing. And they give when they were doing Wayne's World. Have you seen Wayne's World? Or are you too young for Wayne's World?
Like I've seen.
You're like, I saw Wayne's World 3.
It's great.
Yeah, Wayne's World is
up.
amazing. If you haven't seen it, watch it. But they do like a green screen, and it's Wayne and Garth, Dana Carvey, also another legend.
Yeah.
And like, all right, you're from New York. Pretend, hey, we're from New York. We're walking here, you know. Hey, we're from LA. Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, you're Delaware. He's like, hi. I'm from Delaware.
Yeah, they don't have a thing.
Exactly.
They got Joe Biden.
They got Joe Biden these days.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've had some fun with Mark Norman today. John, do we have a couple phone calls for Mark?
Yes, we have Cameron on the line.
We got Cameron on the line. Cameron here, you know. Hey, we're from LA. Hey, what's up, bro?
Terrifying.
Hey, you're Delaware. He's like, hi. Why do I hear?
why
I'm
do
is that me
I'm
talking
from
Delaware?
They don't have a thing.
Exactly.
Wait a minute, they got Joe Biden.
They got Joe Biden.
Oh
these
no!
days.
What
John,
happened?
I hear we've had some fun with Mark Norman today. John, do we have a couple phone
We
calls?
did an
for Mark?
instant replay.
John, what is happening
Real
right now? We
life.
just got an instant replay. We got Cameron on the line. Cameron here, you know. Hey, we're from LA. Hey, what's up, bro?
We got a loop.
Now we're on a loop.
Hi. I hear. Is that me
I'm
talking
from
Delaware? I've never
thing.
I've never done
I got
it.
Joe Biden.
I got Joe Biden.
Oh no!
John, what is happening? We've had some
I don't know, but I
fun
have
with
to-
Mark Norman.
Okay.
Whoa, that was terrifying.
I don't know. Sorry, we apologize for that. I'm not sure what happened there.
guess
Mark
they
even put
probably
his
didn't hear it.
sunglasses on to get cool with
I'm
this.
scared of the calls. I just assume some guy's
true.
gonna call
Some
in
guy's
and chew
gonna-
us
The
out.
That's
call was the past.
John.
Yeah.
I hear, is that me talking?
It's still happening.
John, what's happening?
I have no clue with these phone calls, man.
Uh-oh. Cameron, you weirdo, is a witch.
What just happened with Cameron? John, do we want to cut the...
Yeah, we'll cut the phone calls.
We're going to cut the phone calls. That was the
All right,
creepiest
who
thing
needs
ever.
it?
Just assume some guy.
Oh, here we go again. Joe, you mentioned Joe Biden. That's the only impression I can do. Can I sniff your hair? No. I'm kidding. All right.
That was awesome.
Uh-oh.
Are we still
John,
live?
Jorge, are we still live? What is happening right
Yeah,
now?
no phone calls. We're live.
Okay, cool.
Okay, but we hear the audio keep coming back. Are you aware of what's happening with the audio?
Oh, God. We're lost in another dimension.
Anywho.
You know, you're
Phone
so
calls.
different than I thought you would be.
Really?
Yeah, because you kind of sell yourself as this, like, I don't really care. I'm kind of apathetic. Oh, feelings, what are that? And then you are so much more emotive and, like, invested emotionally in, like, the things that you're talking about, which is a nice surprise.
Okay,
I was
thanks.
like, what are you going to be, a robot? There's no way. And, yeah, I mean, I think, I don't
get
know
that
if
a
that's
lot.
part of your act.
Well, I just
If you
want
tone yourself down.
I guess it's my way of staying not out of trouble, but just kind of, I want the jokes to take over.
Do you feel like that you can say more if you're kind of a little less expressive?
Maybe, and maybe that was not a conscious choice, but maybe you're right. I'll take it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Take it and run with it. Look, I want to wrap up with this.
You're different than I thought, too. I thought you'd be nicer. Sorry.
Dude, you've been awesome. You've been hilarious. I actually, there's a, sorry that we couldn't take phone calls.
No, it's for the best.
There was probably so many calls there waiting that the phone line's busted. Speak to Mark. You wrote some letter, dude.
I
A
did.
letter from comedian Mark Norman, and it was entitled, by the way, this was published this month, March 1st. I don't know if this was an April Fool's joke. It was called One Comic's Journey.
Oh, the Whalebone magazine.
What is this letter? What is this?
This magazine did a comedy issue,
Yeah.
and I know the guy who publishes the magazine. He said, "Hey, can you write something?" And I said, "I don't know what to write." And he goes, "Just tell me about how you got started." So
Yeah.
I just wrote this thing on a plane in my phone real quick, and I texted it to him.
Well, dude, it's freaking awesome.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
just kidding. I'm not. It's probably half a page. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm not going to
It's long.
I could have you read it, but then you'd probably be awkward. I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
But basically, it's saying, hey, Mark Norman here, New York City stand-up comedian, right?
Yeah.
That's a nice thing, Mark.
All
Put on the
right, I
sun-
just don't wanna hear my
Mark's uncomfortable.
words.
Basically, you're talking about how you moved to the big city from New Orleans, and you came to New York City with $800 in your pocket and a dream. Yada 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 yada. You lived in a shoebox. You did. You got mugged 3 times, and it was a good hour-plus commute from into Manhattan from work. You talked about that, right? Going through all the trials and tribulations of New York stand-up comedy. We're getting to the point here, Amber. You said, people have said to me, did you ever want to quit or move back and get a real gig? And you said, honestly, I never even thought about it. So, you said the thoughts of, sitting in a cubicle, chasing some invisible stability that doesn't exist, whatever bullshit or they teach you in school, just wasn't for you, right? So trying to break into the comedy world is lousy with hardships and obstacles, but until you go through it, you can never feel the insane varieties of rejection, shame, and humiliation. Bombing is one thing, but being booed, begging people on the sidewalk to be your audience, and getting stiffed by club owners, and the list goes on, right? So you're saying, I got a lot of these newbies asking to pick my brain or go out to coffee, but there's really just a waste of frickin' time. You say, time could be better spent writing new jokes or soaking up stage time. There's no shortcut. Go get better. And then you go on to say, this is sort of like life advice here, right?
Uh-oh.
This is where you're going to get real uncomfortable right now, but I respect it, bro. You said, all the stuff that the challenges you deal with, that's basically, that's what life is. Pushing the ball up the hill. And then to quote you, well, I'm not quoting you this whole time, but then this part is in quotes. It says, take breaks, be grateful, enjoy what you've accomplished, but you still have to keep creating.
Yeah.
Success has its flaws and hiccups, but I don't know too many people who'd go back. Keep going, folks, and be nice.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
there you are, bro. Does that
right.
kind of sum up who you are? Take us out here,
And
Mark.
I should take my own advice.
Yeah.
We all want more. We're all unhappy. We're all chasing something. We all got childhood trauma. But we're lucky to be alive. Things could be worse. We could be in a war. We could be in Ukraine. We could be back in this pandemic. So remember, everybody's going through something. It's not just you. And be grateful for what you got and work for more. Don't just expect more. Earn it. And Kim Kardashian said that, and I fucked her before Pete Davidson. No. But yeah, just everybody's is mad about what they don't have. Like nobody wants to work anymore.
Right.
Have you noticed that? Like I shouldn't have a job, and I should get money for free and all that. And I think that is exciting and nice, but I think if people worked more, they would actually be happier. I think it's the opposite. We're going the opposite route that we should be. And look how upset everybody is. Look how volatile everyone is, how on edge everyone is. So I say, find something you love and work at it and get good at it and stop expecting so much and start giving more. Queef it up. Praise Allah. I'll see you all in hell. I'm gay. Thanks a lot.
I've been Kevin Hart, right?
Yeah, I'm Kevin Hart.
That's awesome. Well, I'll give you a compliment, bro, and then we'll sign out. And Amber, before I want to get your thoughts on this, you're actually exactly what I thought you'd be. You were great, bro.
How do you like that?
I mean, I've watched, because I used to do comedy, and I watch a lot of comedy. You can just kind of tell who people are for the most part. Now, if you turned out to be a massive douchebag, like, dude, I didn't see that one coming.
Right.
But I expected this. So respect to you,
well,
bro.
Thank
you for being here. Amber, your final thoughts on today's episode with Mark Norman.
I just meant you're not socially awkward, and you claim to be. And you seem...
I can't make eye contact too well.
I feel like we're doing okay with that. I don't know.
I
think you guys just locked eyes for like a half a second.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate when you can have great intellectual conversations with comedians that it doesn't feel the pressure of being punchline every single second, and it takes over the points that you're making. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for listening.
Maybe a reason that you're doing so well and blown up is when one door closes, one door opens. Rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. And she kind of thinks that you're the next Norm, and that's not a bad thing at all, bro.
I should tell you I have cancer. Joking.
And I will say that you're naturally hilarious, bro. It's not an act, and it's not funny. I mean, it's not forced. It's not funny, bro. But respect for telling us about pretty much everything that's going on in your life.
Good luck on the 2 shows tonight.
Good luck. Yeah, where can everyone find you? Give us a little sign out.
MarkNormanComedy.com for dates, Tuesdays with stories, We Might Be Drunk, Out to Lunch, Netflix, the stand-ups, and say hello, buy a shirt, how about a hug, and try not to heckle, and sorry about I've been farting.
Yeah, I was going to mention, I didn't know who it was, but it's pretty bad. But you're awesome, Mark. Thank you for breaking down your dating. Thank you for breaking down comedy, and thank you for breaking down the money component, because this is a financial show that we talk about all these different types of things, because, money makes the world go around and all that fun stuff. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Amber, as always, and everyone at home. Remember to save that money. We out.
Woo!